Defense Minister Dominic Nitul has revealed the military task force deployed to rid the country's water bodies of illegal mining is facing resistance in the communities where they have been assigned. Addressing the media on the second phase of Operation Halt, Mr. Nitul disclosed how a chief at Chechureh mobilized the youth to face off the military task force who were camping in a senior high school there.
Most of the locals do not know or appreciate the dangers associated with the irresponsible mining. And particularly a community called Chichiwere, I think, is that the name? Chichiwere, where the local chief tried to mobilize the youth against the military. You have 400 soldiers, and they are helping you to clean your river body. They didn't go to seize your house to sleep. If they did, I will not be against it. But they are trying to sleep in a secondary school. And you, the chief, insists that they have no right to sleep in that structure. They should leave your town. That the nation has sent its troops to go and do this exercise. And you think that the soldiers have no right to sleep in the classroom in your town because you claim two of your excavators were bent on the river body? I think that people like this must be answerable to their communities and their people. That chief who took that action and made the announcement that the youth should mobilize and go attack the 400 soldiers who were lying down there, what was he thinking he was doing? You are sending them to their death, their graves. I think that we rather need their help, the help of the chiefs, the opinion leaders, the assemblymen, the youth. Because as the soldiers gave me a brief today, most of the young people in the villages are those who are assisting them and showing them where the equipments are. They are not happy about what is happening. They are devastated that their own towns that they have seen clean water is now turning into things like this. And I thank those people for at least ensuring that they protect their heritage. It is your land. You must protect it. Don't allow anybody for the sake of money to destroy them. I do know that some of the mining companies have decided to form gangs, and they are having gangs. Report, and the military will flush those gangs off you and take them off your land.
My colleague Ernest Menu joins me now via Zoom with more from today's briefing. So, Ernest, despite what the minister has had to say, apparently there's been some success. Tell us more about that.
Yes, and so he talks about the destroying, he talks about 28 excavators that have been destroyed. We're looking at 267 chamfan machines. And when you put that together with what was destroyed in the phase 1 of the operation, we're looking at over 400 chamfan machines destroyed within the first and second operations. And so that's within 6 days, actually. And then you're looking at water pumps, drilling machines, plastic fuel tanks, wooden accommodation. Remember that because they're operating in forest areas, they put up these wooden structures that can help them, settle. And so some of these accommodations have also been destroyed. The minister talked about 8 industrial batteries that are also destroyed, and then 2 pump action guns, among many others. But it was also significant in the account he gave about a truckload of pumping machines that was seized by the team. And this truck is registered 2021, and the machines are quite fresh. They were moving into the forest reserves. And so these are some of the, things, the successes, I should say, that they have chalked as far as the second operation is concerned.
And how about arrests? How about arrests, Ernest?
Yeah, so you're talking about arrest. It's difficult hearing, but if you're talking about arrest, the minister says no arrest has been made in this second phase because the illegal miners often get hints of the task force approaching their zones. And so, they take to their heels literally, and it makes it impossible for them to also arrest. The other aspect of it is that, remember that they're supposed to be operating within a 100-meter radius. And so many of these illegal miners, according to the defense minister, have moved their machines away, far away from the zones that warrant any arrest. And it puts the team in a dilemma as to whether or not these are people they could easily arrest because they are actually not within the zone. But you could find that these are machines that have been used in mining within those areas.
All right, and apparently the minister has also been speaking about the harassment of some of the small-scale miners. He reacts to that, so let's listen.
Well, that is...
Rogue imposters are taking advantage of the atmosphere and the quest for enforcement to go around the country harassing small-scale entities, people who are involved in small-scale mining. I want to clarify that what the military are engaged in has been codenamed or dubbed Operation Halt 2, and the Minister of Defense has been very clear about it. There's a lot of clarity on it. It's indicated, and we've all been on the same page from the very beginning to now, that relates to only the red zones, water bodies, forest reserves. In the case of water bodies, 100 meters away from the banks of any water body in our country. Forest reserves, we are clear about them. So that is the current ongoing operation. The military are not involved in any other operation. If there's going to be any other operation outside the Operation Halt 2, that will be sanctioned by the official authorities, either by myself, the Minister for Defense, or National Security, or whoever, or the government establishment. So I want to make it very clear that task forces which are moving about the country, harassing small-scale miners, whether they are involved in legal or illegal mining, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has not mandated the operation of any task forces. I believe that's very clear. The activities and or operations of Operation Vanguard has been suspended.
Burning of excavators has been topical, with many questioning its legality, but the Sector Minister Samuel Abu Jinapo says government will not back down.
There's been a big debate in the country about, I don't call burning of excavators, I don't use that word, I call it decommissioning or demobilizing of equipment which are used for illegal mining. The Ghana Armed Forces are engaged in the decommissioning and demobilizing of equipment which are used for illegalities in our country, and that is how I want to approach it. Now, well, the discourse is ongoing, but I will humbly suggest that perhaps we should also ask the question: what will an excavator be doing on River Pra? What will an excavator be doing on River Ofin, or a Shamfine be doing on River Pra? Ghanaians and all of us, I will respectfully submit that we should interrogate the issue from that point before we get to the stage of what has happened to that excavator, and that is it right or wrong to decommission that excavator. The issues of legal, proprietary, or otherwise about military action, those are very historic, and those are matters that I believe across the world there have been debates about it. How do you treat prisoners of war? Guantanamo Bay, do you try them before a military tribunal, a civilian tribunal, and so on and so forth? Those are matters I don't want to get involved in. But the military have their own methods of enforcement. And as a country, I think it's important that we appreciate that. But in terms of the social debate, I will once again contend that we begin the debate from what will an excavator possibly be doing on a river body. And I will very strongly but respectfully conclude by saying that it's either we are fighting this menace or we are not. It's either we are determined to clear our water bodies and forest reserves or we are not. We cannot waver in this matter. So the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and for that matter, government, supports the Ghana Armed Forces in this patriotic work they are engaged in.
And I still have Ernest Menu with me. Ernest, so what's next in the fight against Galamsey?
And so the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwul, made some recommendations. He said that, first of all, the 100-meter radius rule may have to be reviewed going forward, because then it creates a certain dilemma for the team. And so perhaps they would have to widen that, because they're finding that the destruction is far worse than they actually anticipated. Tomorrow, we understand there's a forum in Kumasi where the ministry will be meeting all the stakeholders involved in this fight. Remember that the Small Scale Miners Association have raised issue with what they call harassment and the burning of the equipment of some of their members who they claim are actually working legally and within permitted zones. And so some of these issues are going to come up, and perhaps a review of the 2 operations so far. And we may get some indication into what will happen for the 3rd phase.
All right. Thank you very much, Ernest Menu.